Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this October the 24th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. And our you can find all of our stuff at EOA.network. That's where all you can find where the availability of all of our stuff is. There also is a place where you can donate to us if you'd like to be in the position of one of our sponsors. We really appreciate that. And I'm going to pitch this to you. This is why, to tell us who our guests are this morning, and we'll be back.
After the break, Dustyn Azure, the head wrestling coach at Eastern Oregon University, and his new assistant, Hunter Sparks, who is also a national champion, two-time All-American, will join us, and we're going to talk about some wrestling and among other things.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Yeah,
that's beautiful first Friday with crappy weather.
That's why I messed up that opening.
You were thinking about it too much?
Because I'm thinking about oh man,
You couldn't remember their names?
Well, I could have, but it would have just been totally slaughtered. Yeah. So
we don't usually do sports. I mean, we've had Hunter on the morning show before.
Yeah.
We don't usually do sports people, but because there's a separate show for sports. But I think every once in a while it's cool to have some sports on the morning show. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
Especially, like people that are involved in the community, like these guys. And Dustyn's got kids that go to the high school. Mm-hmm. He's got 4 daughters.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot of estrogen in that house. I might have to bail out every once in a while, find a mandate or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Buffalo Peak Golf Course. It's starting to get kind of cold and frosty in the morning, so make sure you call ahead if you want to go out and golf at Buffalo Peak, because they generally put a little delay on tee times when there's frost on the course. The phone number is 541-562-5527. Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Meet me at the Peak. On Tuesday night for senior night, the LeGrand volleyball team swept Ontario. They wrap up GOL play today in Pendleton at 6:30 p.m. So their last regular season game of the year is today. Both the boys and girls soccer teams at LHS celebrated senior night on Tuesday as well. They both won. The boys won 2-0. The girls won 7-0. Both teams wrap up their GOL schedule on the 29th in Pendleton. And they have both games on the schedule at 6 o'clock. I don't know that they play them both at the same time. They might. I don't know a lot about soccer fields in Pendleton. So according to the schedule, both games are at 6. LHS football hosts Crook County tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for homecoming. It's live streamed right here on the EOA network. Baker hosts Gladstone at 7 p.m. tomorrow night as well, which will be simultaneously live streamed on the EOA network. And to finish off the GOL schedule for this week, Pendleton heads to Ontario tomorrow night for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Football around the valley. Imbler hosts Adrian tonight. That's going to be a tough game for Imbler. That's at 6 o'clock tonight. Adrian is the Vale of 2A. And Vale is the powerhouse. And Vale could probably win a state championship in 4A, to be honest with you. And that's Adrian in 2A. I mean, Adrian's tough. Imbler's going to have their hands full tonight. Elgin hosts Union tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And then Powder Valley has a bye this week. Okay, so let's go this one now. Congratulations to Kiana Mack. We talked about it on Tuesday. She was the CCC Defender of the Week. She was also named the National Defender of the Week. She had 18 blocks over the weekend with 10 of them and 9 kills coming against number 9 Corbin. That's big time right there. You go against the top 10 team and 10 blocks. Man, wow. She currently averages the second most blocks in the NAIA per set, which is huge. I mean, she's been solid. She was same thing last year. Just she's tall. She dominates the middle. She leads the Cascade Collegiate Conference with 120 blocks this season. And then also, congratulations to EOU men's cross country's Justin Ash. He finished 10th Out of 100 runners at the Linfield George Oja Invite on Saturday, he was the number 1 NAIA runner in that race. He ran the 8K in 24 minutes and 38 seconds, and he helped the Mounties to a 3rd place finish, which is pretty good at a race with 100 racers. EOU athletics schedule for the weekend. On Friday, men's and women's cross country are at the Sasquatch Open in Spokane. Women's soccer plays Corbin in Salem at 12, and then the men play Corbin in Salem at 2:30. Volleyball goes to Olympia to take on Evergreen State at 6 p.m. And then on Saturday, softball has a fall double dip versus Walla Walla starting at 9:30 a.m. at Peggy Anderson Memorial Field. Women's soccer plays Bushnell in Eugene at noon, and then the men play Bushnell in Eugene at 2:30. EOU baseball hosts TVCC for a fall ball game at 1 o'clock, and then EOU football has Simpson at 1 p.m. at Community Stadium. The Simpson team went viral last week for all the wrong reasons. They lost to fellow Frontier Conference team Montana Tech 96-0.
Oh, man.
That's bad. I mean, you feel bad for both coaches there because, like, 96-0. Like,
right.
You score 43 points in the first quarter. You can't tell your guys to just stop playing. I wouldn't know what to do, honestly. I really wouldn't. Volleyball plays Northwest in Kirkland at 4 p.m., and you'll be able to get a look at the EOU men's basketball team as they are in action with a scrimmage versus the Seattle Mountaineers, so it'll be Mountaineers versus Mountaineers, a semi-pro team at 6 o'clock on Saturday at Quinn. And then the weekend wraps up with EOU women's basketball heading to Cheney, Washington to play Eastern Washington at 2 p.m. on Sunday. For more information, you can go to EOU Athletics. You can just Google it. It's really easy to find. AM Sports Report brought to you by Buffalo Peak. Meet me at the Peak.
All right.
Yeah, 96-0 BC. That's, come on, man. Wow.
Yeah, you know what
And there was literally like big time Sports Center, like, hey, this NAIA team beat this other team 96-0. I mean, it was all over my feed.
No, in that Baker game last Friday, was 40. I mean, at the half it was
41-0.
41-0.
Yeah.
And
Baker lost all their players though.
Right.
I mean,
but the point is when you see a big deficit like that, it's like you just. What do you do? I mean, you just
put the cheerleaders in the pads in the second half. I don't know. Call the JV guy.
No. The running clock is probably as good of a solution as you can get. But it's like, yeah. What do you? I mean, you wish you could just like, oh, okay.
I mean, I think that's Ontario's first GOL win in like 5 years too.
Yeah, was it?
I think so. I can't remember the last time they beat a GOL team.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's not the GOL, it's Special District, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
But when I say GOL,
right.
I mean LeGrand, Baker, Pendleton, Crook County.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time they beat a team in their league, which is and then they come out and beat Baker 41-0.
Yeah. No, and you felt sad for during halftime I went down, used the restroom, and all of the Baker fans are just like.
Was that their homecoming? Or is that tomorrow night?
That was their homecoming. Yes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they scheduled the team that they thought they could beat. We scheduled Crook County. I think we can. We might give Crook County a run, but Crook County is arguably the best team in 4A right now. I mean, they've beat some good teams, including Pendleton last week, and I mean, we should have had homecoming last week, but we didn't know that Burns game was going to be at home. So
yeah,
I don't know. So it is homecoming week for the Tigers as well. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, exciting.
All right. Well, hey, let's look outside.
Yeah.
It's like one of those fall mornings without snow yet. So
thank God.
All the trees are about midway turning, and so.
There's some sunshine. It's kind of bright out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a positive. Is there any snow on the mountain yet? Nope.
No. Let's look at the weather graphic. So 54 today, and this weekend 56, 66.
Sunday and Monday, it looks like it gets crummy.
Yeah, that looks like that's when it's going to start raining.
Yeah.
So, but the temperature is going to be in the 50s, kind of continue to be there. So
Not quite as bad.
yeah. All right. Hey, take us to the break. You.
Cool. What's he? Oh.
All right, welcome back. And so we're joined by EOU men's head wrestling coach, Dustyn Azure. He was recently inducted into the Native American Athletic Hall of Fame. And by a new coach on the staff, but he's two-time All-American, right? Two-time All-American and national champion, NAIA Wrestler of the Year last year, Hunter Sparks. What's up, guys?
How's it going? Good. How's it
Good.
going?
So the way this came about was I was going to have them on the sports show this week, and we just decided we're going to bring them on the morning show instead. We'll talk some wrestling, and we'll also just talk some, LeGrand and just life things. First question for you, Dustyn. How is it? How is the wrestling team? What's it look like this year?
Good. I like where we're sitting right now. Definitely under the radar a little bit, nationally wise, and when it comes down to the conference as well. So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so are we. Especially what we have in the room right now. They're looking good. They're looking crisp. Ready to get on the mat here next week.
Compare this year's team to teams in the past, like where talent-wise.
Talent-wise, I think that we were just talking about this the other day. I think it's comparable to about where we were sitting when we won conference that year. And so we kind of snuck under the radar. We came in like number 6 in the conference, and then ended up winning conference that year and qualified our most guys to the national tournament. So I think we're sitting in that same boat, definitely a little bit under the radar, but we have some hammers in there that are going to come out and make some noise, I think.
So when we talk about this conference, the CCC, it's the toughest conference in the country, arguably. I mean, I would say it is. There's always 3 or 4 teams in the top 10, and it just beats up on each other in my eyes. What do you think about that? Like, is that how you want it to be, or would you rather it was a little more even throughout? The NFL?
No, for sure. I like where we're sitting. I like comparing us. We're like the Big Ten of the NAI.
Yeah, for real.
And so, like, this is where all the big dogs are. We want to get out and meet all of them. And, we also have to travel, of course, to get to wrestle against competition. But I like where we're sitting. We get to meet these guys every week. And that's what iron sharpens iron. And that's what we get out of our conference. And it's a good group of guys in our conference with all the coaching staffs, and everyone pushes each other. So
Is that the hardest part? Travel? Like, because this conference is so spread out. There's teams in Arizona. There's teams in Montana. Is that the hardest part?
Yeah, financially. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. Obviously, financially, yeah. But I mean, like on the guys. I mean, traveling's tough. I think, anyways.
It is. It's tough, but I think with our sport in general, we're used to it. Like, we got guys that come in. We're traveling to national tournaments all summer long. They're competing all year, and they're making these long distance travels to meet up with the best guys. And so most of the time, the guys coming in are used to that atmosphere, and we look forward to it. It's fun getting on the road with the guys, and you're just making fun of me earlier about having 4 daughters, so I get to get my guy time.
I wasn't making fun.
Hang out with my boys.
I was just like, it's just, sometimes it's got to be
sympathy, man.
Yeah, it was more sympathy than making fun. Like I'd have some Beats by Dre at the house. Just put those things on and disappear. Hunter, for you, and I asked this to a lot of coaches. I don't know that I've ever asked it to a first-year coach that's in your situation. One of the things that I'm kind of anti, and I know that it's absolutely necessary, is a guy coming his first year out of a program to coach the same guys that he just was teammates with. And the reason why I don't like it isn't because, obviously you have to change your role with your buddies, right? You become coach.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't like it is because I feel like sometimes it's hard for a guy that was coached by somebody to be brutally honest and hold that person accountable, which is part of your job as an assistant coach. Like you have a different role with Dustyn now, and I feel like that's really hard to walk that line. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's too bad. I think one of the things that really helps us is we have multiple coaches. I mean, it's us two, but we also have Blake, Luca, Marco, and we have Coach T. So we have like a lot of
which are
different
all EOU wrestlers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons we stuck around here, though, is that we believe in everything that we do. For the majority of the time, I feel like we're always on the same page anyway. So it's really easy to spitball ideas and be like, hey, maybe we should do this instead. And it's not really a point where there'd be like any arguments or anything. We're usually everybody's pretty open to new stuff, and all we're focused on is just making sure that everybody gets better. As far as being a teammate and now a coach, it's a little weird at the start. Like you said, I've traveled with these guys, and I've
lived with some of them, but best friends with some of them, I'm sure.
And that's a little tough. But like one of the things I told them was like, yeah, I'm a coach now, but like it's really no different. The only difference is I'm not competing with them. But I would like to say that I feel like I still had the same amount of leadership last year of just kind of pushing the tempo in the room, just kind of being vocal. But like I tell them, like, I'm Coach Sparks, but I don't want that, like, oh, I'm a coach now, you got to treat me with disrespect. Like, I'm still their friend. Like, that's at the end of the day, I just want to get them better. So I'm going to be, I'm going to give them criticism and I'm going to work with them, but I'm going to do it in a manner to where I'm not trying to be overpowering and be some big tough guy now because I'm in the coaching role. I just hope, and I hope they all see this as like, I'm hard on them, but I still want them to see where I'm coming from, and I want them to have the same success that I was able to, and other people from EOU have had, and that's just with pushing them, but with constructive criticism. So get on them, but still having that level of praise. Like, we still did really good today. Like, we're getting there. It takes time. Like, and I tell them all the time, like, you don't have to call me coach. Like, just call me Hunter. Like, I was your teammate. Like I don't want to step away from that, if that makes sense.
It does. I feel like.
So I got a follow-up question for that, and it probably is going to be the one you're asking, and that is, so Dustyn, so when your assistant coaches are, and I'm learning about the program more now than what I've known before, and that is when your assistant coaches are EOU past wrestlers, how are you able to foster the kind of relationship that is going to say, hey, I don't know if that's the right way to go, or I have a different opinion. I mean, are you able to do that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think we got to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wrestling, that's life. We just got to be in there and just be brutal honest with each other and let each other know where our faults are, what we need to work on, how we can get better as a team, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do, is continue to get better every year, every day.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of coaches meetings, and we'll sit down, we'll talk. Hunter's seen them now, like where we can sit down and we like start going through things. Okay, we need this and this. How are we going to do this? Mm-hmm. What's the best route to go about doing this? We'll pitch different ideas, then we find the best one. Maybe someone has an idea that stands out, and we use that, or we collaborate and mount them on top of each other. So it's definitely the coaches we have in are people that I've trusted and people that I know that have the leadership skills that can come in to coach these guys. I know that they're not going to come in and after practice sneak some guy out and go hang out at bench warmers. And, but it's a relationship that I think by the time they get older and they've been there a few years, they understand we're not there to beat up on them and just criticize them every day. And it's about being honest and helping them just become better people.
Yeah.
When I look at it too, I feel like wrestling's a little bit different because in the fact that your teammates are kind of coaches, you know, already. You know what I mean? Unlike like in football, your teammates aren't really coaching. But in wrestling, I've noticed like if Hunter's out there wrestling, then maybe Kyle's on the sideline telling him, hey, you know, get the underhook or what, you know what I mean? And so in that sense, it's different. Like, but the common answer that I get from a lot of the coaches is it's a money thing too. I mean, if you can get guys to come back, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's a GA or you know a volunteer coach, and it's easier to get guys that played or wrestled or girls that played or wrestled for you to come back and do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a common answer I get.
Yep. I mean, we're definitely very fortunate on that side too. Like these guys are sticking around. They're teachers. They're working in the community. We got Marco working out at Union, and we got Blake working out at Elgin. Hunter's finishing up, getting ready to go to his master's, our doctorate program. Coach T sticking around. He's been in jobs.
Just had a baby.
Yeah, just had a baby. So congrats, Coach T.
Yeah.
Luca doing PT.
So.
Isn't that what you're doing too?
Chiropractic.
Oh, chiropractic. Yeah. That's right. That's right. So where are you going to do the school for that?
So I was lucky enough to find a program where I actually get to do my first year completely online. So I'm in chiropractic school right now. I'm kind of towards the end of my first trimester, but I'm able to stay here in LeGrand and still coach. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to still be around wrestling. And I think with wrestling, like you were kind of saying with the, you know, just kind of like everybody's a coach, and like that sense is like, even as the coaches, like we by no means like know everything. Like we still learn from our wrestlers today.
Oh, yeah.
Like we still learn things every day, whether that's seeing reels on Instagram of just other schools, other moves, somebody in our room coming up with something or saying like, hey, you know, what about this? It's like, it's just one of those sports where you're just always growing no matter what, whether you're a coach, athlete, somebody in the stands, like you're constantly learning. And I think that kind of helps a lot. And then the goals never changed. I think that is a lot easier when you have wrestlers come back in too, is like we still have that same goal, regardless of who's on the team or regardless of who left, who came in. Like we still have the same drive. Like we want national champions. We want, you know, ideally a trophy finish at nationals. Like the goal never changes, and I think that's easy to really kind of carry on just as a tradition as EOU wrestling.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about like for when with the transition from wrestling to coaching? What's been the hardest part outside of obviously being, you know, a teammate of the guys and then being, but what's been the hardest part? Just not being able to compete?
If I'm being honest, like just a confidence thing, like being able to step up and say like, hey, you know, like, no, you guys, you know, listen to me, like I need you guys to do this, and trying to like keep people, keep that level of respect is, it's more difficult in my eyes because I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know if I'm overstepping here or
Right.
whatever. But from what I've seen, like everybody's been super awesome. It's just like picking up from like right from the start. I feel like I haven't missed a beat from just being a teammate last year. I mean, it's just that part's a little difficult, and then I do miss competing. That part's also hard. Yeah, seeing everybody else get ready gets me amped up, and like I want to get back on the mat. But
That's one of the hardest things for college athletes is the loss of identity. You know, trying to re-identify. You know what I mean? Because you go from, you know, everybody knows you as Hunter, the national champion wrestler, and then now it's like now you're Hunter, the coach. You know what I mean? Like
be a national champion coach.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
That'd
Dude.
be
That would
pretty
be
sweet.
awesome. Dustyn, for you, this team this year, obviously we always talk about the goals. I mean, it has to be trophy finish again, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's every year.
I mean, we gotta help our guys get to where they want to be. They want to be national champs. They want to be All-Americans. And if we're helping them reach their goals, we're gonna accomplish our goal. And so our goal, of course, you know, trophy hunting, national champs. That's always been the goal. And we have to just, if they accomplish their goals, we're gonna accomplish ours. And so we're pushing them to make sure that they get as close as they can, or surpass, or at least get to their goal.
I think one thing that would be cool is if you guys can walk us through like a day for like a wrestler that takes classes at school. So walk me through a whole day, like during like season, but not like the day before a match, but like, you know, early in the week or whatever. What's a day look like?
So 3 times a week. So like say Monday. So usually guys will probably be waking up at about 4:45ish. We lift. Our lift starts at 5:30 in the morning.
So you guys get the weight room at 5:30.
Yep.
Set.
First one's in the weight room. We have a 10-minute rule though, so even though our lift starts at 5:30, 5:20 they got to be there starting their warm up. Lift is usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Most of the guys have a couple of hour or two in there. If they have 8 a.m. classes, then you're off to school. Obviously, depends on your class schedule, but then you basically get your classes done throughout the day. Depending on your weight too, you might have to go get an extra run in, get, you know,
Cut a little pounds off.
get some weight off. Certain days, then we'll have our individual drills. So anywhere from 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. There's a slot in there where they can sign up. They come in, work on their own individual stuff. So they'll bring a partner in. They'll grab one of the coaches, go in the mat room for about an hour, just working on whatever it is that they need. Then they'll get a little break, or maybe have class again. And then usually about 3 to 3:30 is when our afternoon practice starts, which is like a wrestling practice, which is usually about 2 hours long, which can range from anywhere to just a technique day of just drilling to super hard drilling, or like yesterday, just a straight come in. It's an hour and a half of live wrestling, and then your practice is done, which gives you time to usually go in and get therapy, go see the trainers, get ice baths, do whatever you need. Again, go run, do some other stuff if you need to. And then hopefully in bed about 8, 9 o'clock, ready to do it again in the morning.
Every day. What about so say like you, obviously you wrestled 125 last year, so you had to cut weight every week, I'm sure. I mean, 125 is light for anybody.
Yeah.
Nutrition wise, what do you tell, like now as coaches? What are you telling your guys that are having to cut weight? How do you keep everything okay inside their body? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The biggest part's your hydration. Like
100%.
as much water as you can. When I was cutting, I would try to drink I never was able to, but I try to get a gallon of water a day. Like, just push a lot of water. It helps you sweat a lot more, and it just kind of keeps, I mean, water is essential to the body, helps all your bodily functions work anyway. And then just eating good food. It doesn't necessarily have to be like super like calorie counting, like I'm going to eat exactly blah, blah, blah calories or whatever. Just as long as you're eating good foods in good amounts, not overeating, but also not undereating, you're going to lose weight regardless. We work out a lot. We're always sweating. And then I think the biggest thing is just not to panic. That's a lot of guys start getting a little worked up over their weight. They start stressing out about like, oh, you know, I got weigh-ins coming in. Like, just trust the process. Like, your body's going to help you get down there. If you have to get an extra run in, it is what it is. But once you get down to weight, stay there. And that's the only other big problem in wrestling. Is people like to make weight and then they start doing the ups and downs to where they'll weigh in. And then 3 days later, they're already, 12, 15 pounds over, and then you just make it.
Well, how do you stop that? I mean, because I kind of think like once you lose, say you walk around every day at 138 or whatever, 135, and you're going to wrestle 125, and you cut down. How do you stay there? Like, because your body naturally wants to be 135. You know what I mean? Like,
yes and no. I mean, the human body is just super resilient in general. Like, I think more of it is a mental thing. And I know it was for me in the past. Like, I'd have this super hard weight cut, and then I make weight, and then it's like, oh, okay, I want everything. I want soda. I want, all
pasta, everything that you probably shouldn't be eating
exactly.
when you're trying to cut weight.
But once you kind of realize, like, how well you can perform with less, like, it kind of makes you realize, like, oh, I don't really need to eat this much. I don't need to get 8 pounds over to feel good. Like, when I was at 25, I started initially, when I first cut to 25, I was rocking around just under 140.
Right.
But by that second year, because I just kept being consistent, make sure I didn't get super big, I even to this day, still, I walk around at like 134, 135.
So if I put you on a scale right now, you'd be
probably
135.
35, 36.
Yeah. And when you first started cutting to 125, you were right around 140. Mm-hmm. So just a natural 5 pound.
And just if you don't allow yourself to blow up, your body kind of adapts to that new weight that you're at. And I mean, I don't miss any meals. Never missed any meals. Still had water every single day. Coffee. I'm a big coffee guy, so I had coffee every morning.
Shameless plug for whoever.
Buckskin coffee.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, and this can be to either one of you. So but you're most recently in this arena. Is this when you have a competitor or one of your wrestlers is they're going up against a tough match. And you're already kind of at the top of the heap. So how do you prepare for a particular competitor? How do you coach? Do they watch film of that? I mean, how, talk about that a little bit as far as how.
I think we prepare for everyone. It doesn't matter who you're going to wrestle. We prepare the same. Like, we prepare like we're wrestling a national championship match every time we step on the mat. If there's a mat down, that's what we're preparing for.
Right.
You just got to get your mind mentally prepared every time you step foot on that mat. This is the most important match because that's all that matters. The match, that's task at hand. And so same with every day. And it's something that we just got to train our bodies to, our minds to. When we step in that wrestling room, this is the most important day for me. This is the day that's going to make me a national champion. And you got to believe that every day that you step in the room. And we carry it over with everything. It's not just the wrestling room. We try to teach our guys that if you step into the classroom, this is the most important day. I've got to learn as much as I can today because I got to be ready for a test tomorrow, and got to treat them the same. Right,
and I totally follow that. But wrestling is so individualized. You have guys that are really good at takedowns, or they're really good at reverses, or whatever. Yeah. So do you prepare for that? I mean, how do you prepare for that? How do you as a wrestler? Yeah.
Again,
they do watch film. I mean, we've had conversations about watching
and so
film.
are you talking about preparing for a specific person?
Correct.
Right.
Like, a lot of the guys don't watch much film. Like, they'll watch it, but it's mostly of themselves. And like where they're having success or where they're making mistakes at. And as coaches, we'll watch the other guys and watch for little tendencies, like what are they starting with? Are they tying up here? What's their lead foot? What's their main go-to shot? What's their first move off bottom? What's their first move off top? Like those little hints that we can start preparing them for. Okay, they're
So you mean, so as a coach, you might watch the guy they're going to wrestle.
yeah.
To give the, okay.
Yep, and then we'll give them a little insight. Okay, like Hunter hated watching film of the people that he's going to wrestle.
Sure, yeah, that would be.
And so
yeah.
we would watch and we would just like, okay, this guy, he's going to try to slow you down. He's just going to try to get control ties and hold on to you. We can't let him get a hold of anything. We just got to slap things away, look for our shots, get him moving up and down. All right.
Or just like, I'm on bottom, like, hey, this guy likes to leg ride. Just
Yeah.
like be ready for that. Don't let the legs in. Like, just small stuff like that. But I mean, like he's kind of saying, like I never liked watching film of the other guys, and I think again it comes with that kind of mindset thing he's talking about. Is like, if I'm worried about what this other guy's gonna do, I'm not worried about my offense.
Right.
You just got to go out with the confidence that you have done all the things to prepare. There's nothing more you can do now. You're stepping on the mat, getting ready to wrestle. All the training's been done. Just go out and do what you know how to do. One of my mottos is just have fun and score points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, if you have that mindset of just going out and trying to score as many points as you can, majority of the time it's going to work out in your favor. If we're worried about this guy's going to shoot to this leg, like I got to defend that, then you're thinking about this guy's offense instead of thinking about your own offense. And so just more of having trust and believing in yourself that no matter who steps out in front of you, you're just going to go wrestle to the best of your ability, and just whatever happens.
But as a wrestler, there probably have been times when you have a go-to move, it's been successful for you, and you'll be wrestling an opponent, and it'd be like, oh, he was prepared for that.
Yeah. It happens a lot, especially last year. It happened a lot. I won't lie, like I got frustrated sometimes because that would be the case. Sometimes guys would just kind of, play defensive to where I'm not. I like I said, I like scoring a lot of points. So there's kids that I should be, pinning, or I should beat them by a tech fall, and I'll beat them like 2-0. And it's frustrating for me, but at the end of the day, they don't ask how you win, they just ask how many. So as long as you get the win at the end of the day, like that's what's important.
Well, and the film thing kind of makes sense too, not watching the other guy, because the most important matches of the year are tournaments, and you never know who you're going to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't expecting to wrestle that guy that you wrestled in the finals, right? I mean, maybe.
If I'm being 100% honest, I actually was.
What were you? What was he ranked going in?
13th.
Yeah.
Which it's a
Ranking systems go off a lot.
It's a bunch of BS, if you ask me.
I mean, he's a D1 transfer, and I wrestled him in high school and everything. Like, I knew him. We wrestled at the conference tournament here in EOU in the finals.
I remember.
And after that match, I actually, because we both went to the same community college.
Swat.
Clackamas.
Oh, Clackamas, that's right.
I left. He got there the next year.
He's the Menlo kid, right?
Yeah. But I told him after that match, I was like, it's going to be you and me. Like, I strongly believed it. I thought he was the next best wrestler at that weight, and it ended up working out that way.
Right? But generally speaking, you're going into a tournament, you don't know who you're going to wrestle. Like, especially like opens. You could have somebody that you never even, chances are slim, but somebody you never even heard of coming in there.
Upsets happen all the time. You never know what's going to happen. In my weight, for instance, I mean, the number one seed at that weight lost the first match. Like, and that's not expected, but you just got to be prepared for anything to happen. And like we were kind of saying, like, it's just that next match is what's important. So whoever steps up, that's the next person that you got to go out and try to whoop on. So
let's talk about what's coming up. November 2nd, Arizona Christian and Providence duels.
Yep.
So are those conference duels?
They are. They're
right off the hop.
Yeah.
Straight up conference duels.
We get a solid conference, and Providence is number 6 in the nation
right
now, so.
Yeah. And so we're is that normal? 2 duels in a day like that?
Yeah.
Pretty normal?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now with the limited amount of weigh-ins that you get per year, and it gets us more competition out of the gate, and that's what we want. I mean, we're preparing for the end. This is just getting out there and seeing where we're at, really.
So with the duels on Saturday, that means isn't there a rule like with weight allowances because you're wrestling 2 days in a row?
Yeah, so we'll get an
How's that
extra
work?
pound.
Explain that to the.
Yeah, so each consecutive day that you compete, you'll get an extra pound. And so we'll compete Saturday. We'll make scratch weight, and then Sunday we get 1 extra pound.
And that's everybody that wrestles.
That's
right?
every. Yep, whoever's in the tournament. If they didn't duel, it doesn't matter. There's already a team that wrestled that night, so everyone gets.
Why do they do
next
that?
day.
Do you have a firm answer on that, or?
It's pretty tough to make weight 2 days in a row at scratch weight for a lot of people. So
Right.
they get some of that a little bit so they can get a little bit of nutrition in their body and get ready to go again. I mean, after their matches, they're throwing stuff on to start sweating, getting their weight back down, and just get things under control again.
Yeah, because for the people that don't know wrestling that well, you cut down to weight, and once you weigh in, then you rehydrate, which means you gain probably what? How much would you gain? Would you say right after after you weigh in, you're eating maybe like some fruit, drinking a lot of water, maybe a liquid IV or whatever. How much weight do you gain like right after you weigh in?
Right after?
Yeah, or that day, the rest of that day.
I'd say throughout the day, I'd probably put about 3 to 4 pounds into my body, but then while you're wrestling and warming up, it kind of naturally comes off again too. But yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 bottles of water, and nutrition's like super important. So sandwiches, lots of fruit, protein bars, granola bars, like whatever it is. Like whenever you feel like you need it, get that, put fuel in your system. But yeah, usually probably for me 3 to 4. I'm a lighter guy, but I know some of the bigger guys, it's 6 to 7.
Yeah,
like,
7, 8 pounds, right?
No.
So it's a safety thing too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want guys to weigh in, put on weight, and then have to cut it right back off to weigh in the next day.
Yeah.
But even though they do, I mean, it's still only a pound.
They do, but a lot of our guys, at least Kyle, for example. Kyle probably in a match probably loses about 5 pounds in a match just from going out there that 7 minutes.
He sweats a lot, dude.
But that's part of the hydration piece that you have to have hydration. You have to drink that water. And, you got to pound those liquids just to get you ready to go. And your body responds. It gets like Hunter was saying, it gets used to wrestling at a calorie deficit, and just you feel good. You find a way to feel good with it.
Let's kind of switch subjects. Talk about the Native American Hall of Fame induction. I want to hear a little bit about that. I haven't heard. I mean, I read the article, but I haven't talked to you about it.
I first heard about it this summer. I was at a wrestling camp. Actually, I was at a wrestling camp, pretty ironically, in Poplar. I was back at my hometown doing a wrestling camp there, and the last day I got a call from Don Wetzel's his name. He called me up and told me that I was going to be inducted, and yeah, just great honor. I mean, it's
Where is it? Where is the
it's
Native
going to be held
American athletic?
in Helena.
And when is your induction ceremony?
It is it's the day after we duel Northern and who else we duel?
So coming
Evergreen.
up quick in the next couple months.
Yeah, yep. So it's gonna we'll duel that day. I'm gonna jump in the car, drive halfway. I'll drive to like Spokane, jump on over, hit the induction on Saturday. Sunday morning, I'll wake up and meet the guys in Spokane for the tournament because we have another tournament on.
Do you
in
get
Spokane
something
on
cool?
Sunday.
Do you get like a jacket or a bust?
I don't know.
or-
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know anything
They gotta
about
give
it.
you something, a ring. I
Maybe,
mean,
yeah.
Generally, like a Hall of Fame ceremony, you get something that everybody else who's been inducted.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be with the Native American Athletic Hall of Fame, but
Key to the city.
key to the city. Yeah, but he didn't even wrestle in that city, right? So that's for your athletic accomplishments from the time you were young all the way through college. Is
Yeah.
it? So it's like
And,
a
they
lifetime
included
thing.
coaching. It's a lifetime
Oh,
thing.
it's a lifetime thing.
award. So everything that I've accomplished from when I started wrestling at 5 years old. So
Wow.
yeah,
And you were All-American at
Montana State Northern.
Northern.
Yep.
How many times?
Twice.
Two-time All-Americans. And
Freshman
now,
and senior year.
and now we wrestle against Montana State Northern, they're in our conference.
Yeah.
Like they're in the CCC when it comes to wrestling.
Yep.
Is that weird going back, like to your old stomping grounds? And
It definitely puts a little bit more of a hype to it for me. I
Yeah.
get excited about it. I
Sure.
like getting back and beating them. So
So another question: will they put you in the Montana State Northern Hall of Fame?
to be determined. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You've been out for 10 years.
Yeah, well, I just said how our team got inducted. I went back. When was that? About a month ago or so.
ago, yeah.
Yeah. And so class of 2002. I almost said 22.
2002.
2002. Yeah, we got inducted to the Montana State Hall of Fame
Did
for
that
athletics.
Did that team win a national championship?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So you were part of a national championship team.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now you just need to win one as a coach.
Right.
I mean, that's the goal every year, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Hunter? Like when you obviously you're gonna have to go somewhere else to finish chiropractor school. Where do you want to end up coaching? Like, what do you want to do? Like,
That's a tough one. So yeah, next around this time next year, I got to move down to Dallas, Texas, to finish the rest of my
Dallas,
school.
Texas?
Yeah, moving to Dallas.
What school is it? A specialized chiropractic?
Yeah,
school?
so it's Parker University. It's just a chiropractic school.
Okay.
So I'll move down there. We'll be there for probably 2-3 years, depending on just kind of how things work out. I'll finish school. My fiance will probably. I'm not sure what she'll do. She's doing her undergrad right now. She wants to go to dental school, so she might stay in Texas, and we might stay in Texas for dental school. Eventually, we want to probably move back to Oregon, or at least the Northwest area. The coaching aspect is difficult. That all kind of just I decide. Kind of depends on what I want to do. I would love to be a head coach at a college. I really want to coach college. That's what I like to do. I think it's a lot more. I don't know how to say it. A lot more leniency on me, I guess. I think the nicer part of it is it's just you and the athletes. Like that's it, and so you can be as hard on them as you want without having to worry about as much stuff.
But you do know that in the NAIA, these guys aren't just coaches, right? Like they do the paperwork and all this BS and driving the vans.
Yeah.
And, like, no, not for me. I don't want to be your coach and your dad and fill out all your paperwork and do the rating. That's just something that I wouldn't be able to handle. Like, I love coaching. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love coaching like kids that are. I call them the kids that are at the breaking point. So like. Generally, it's like right around 7th or 8th grade because that's when you decide whether you really like a sport or not, in my eyes.
Yeah.
And so I really love that, but I do not like parents. I don't like paperwork. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's one of and in the NAIA level, there's a lot of stuff that coaches like D1 don't have to do. They have like 18 people that do it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that the NAIA level is tough, dude. Like. It's underpaid for what you do too, for sure. Dustyn knows that. I mean, it's just being real, right? I mean, you don't see D1 coaches driving a Sprinter van full of smelly wrestlers to Havre, Montana. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. I mean, you know, Dustyn.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say anything. It's like. All the coaches at that level, there's like just this expectation and almost the responsibility and the parenting part is all levels, right, of college. When you got a freshman coming in, you're replacing mom and dad kind of when you're the coach. So there's that pressure too. It's like maybe the guys that are a little bit older, you have a guy that's married, he's kind of settled down or whatever, or that's been in the program for a few years, that's different. But these guys that are coming fresh as, freshmen in college, like 18 years old, sometimes 17, a lot of them don't even know how to make a box of macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of fun, though, too, because you get to see those guys grow and kind of start to mature. And I think that's just the nice thing about I mean, I'm sure all teams, but our team specifically, is we just have those role models that are older and that have been through it. Everybody's done a freshman year. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. Freshman year is always going to be tough, but more often than not, everybody usually kind of figures it out pretty quick. So it's not too bad to have to deal with. And if it does become a problem, then obviously that's a conversation we'll have. But everybody, for the most part, figures it out.
And that's part of coaching. I mean, that's in leadership, getting your guys to that next level each year. They're developing a little bit more and becoming that leader that's helping the freshmen, bringing them along. Like everyone has little mentors that they're following and learning from. Yeah. So it's definitely something that you have to build. It wasn't here the first couple of years, and so you just have to start slowly building into it. It's a process, just like anything else.
What's the hardest? What's the part of your job that you like the least?
Paperwork.
Yeah, paperwork for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of it.
Yeah, just staying on top of yourself, bringing in, taking the receipts in. I mean, you're using your credit card a lot, so you got to keep track of all that stuff. Yeah. And I got stuff scattered all over the place, so I'm like, I'm scooping things up here and here.
I'm not good at that either. I ain't gonna lie.
But I think it's a little bit of everything. It's like you're owning your own company, really. You're the CEO of the wrestling program, and we got to be able to make sure everything's managed the way we want it managed. You know, we got guys doing different things, whether it be our coaches or our wrestlers. They all have a role that they play. It's not just me. Like, I'm in the shadows pretty much now that we have as much coaches that we have on board. So it's awesome to be able to build it to where I can sit back and we talk about things. Okay, this is what we're going to do in practice. This is this and this is this. This is your job, my job, his job.
Your first year, or maybe your second year, was there just you and one coach, right?
The first couple of years.
Yep. So who was the first coach?
Ty Vincent. I was the first coach, and Ty Vincent was my assistant.
Yeah. Yep. And then Coach T came.
No,
Mar. Mar was before T, right?
Dino, actually.
Oh, Dino
jumped in to help out.
Him.
Yep.
Yeah. And so now you have what, 5 coaches?
Yeah.
5 coaches. And then
6.
Well, you were coaching men's and women's when it first started, right?
Yep, for the first 3 years.
For the first, So now we have a head women's coach, and he's got a couple of assistant coaches as well.
Yep.
It's just growing, man. It's crazy. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Good.
Well, and it takes a while for the culture to get going. You know, I sang in a long-term choir program when I was in college. You know, but the guy had done it for 20 years, which is so. But after a while, then you just when you start into that program, you have all of those other members that help you acclimate to the. I mean, the coach doesn't even have to say anything because all of the other members are kind of, and I know that wrestling is that same way, you know.
Yeah,
you're attracting the same kind of people. They already know the rules because the other players have kind of said, yeah, you got to show up 10 minutes early. Yeah. You know, I mean, you figure that out. So
it is nice. I think that's a big role in our recruiting too. I think it's a reason we get a lot of guys is just that brotherhood that we have on this team, and you know, our upperclassmen are taking that role and helping these younger guys, you know, figure things out without us having to really direct them and tell them, you have to do this, 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 and this. They already kind of step into that role. And, I mean, really, I don't think we very rarely have any issues with anybody on the team. Like, everybody usually meshes together pretty well. And I think that's a big reason we're growing. It's just, I mean, you have people to wrestle for now. Like, when you step on that mat, it's not just about you now. You know, you have all your teammates that you care about and that care about you, and everybody wants to see each other succeed. And I think that just kind of, that's really what our program has started to kind of like resemble, is just having that like aspect. Everybody says it, but like that family aspect. And I think it plays a big role in our success with competing and recruiting and whatever that may be.
That's why I'm so happy my son is doing college athletics, because people his age don't understand. Like, I feel like there's not like this. They don't have the same like feeling about promptness and being accountable that like people my age and older do. So like these younger generations, and I've seen it firsthand. It's like, oh, I'll if the meeting's at 11, I'll walk in at 11:02 and everything's fine, or whatever. And athletics, especially at the college level, most programs, there's a different level of accountability. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're showing up. Like my baseball coach in college was like, you have your cleats on and you're ready to rock 10 minutes early. You know what I mean? If we practice at 3:30, that doesn't mean walk on the field at 3:30. That means you're ready to go at 3:20. And that's probably the thing that I'm the most grateful that my kid is doing college athletics, because he's going to continue to learn. It's kind of been instilled in high school with the programs that he's been involved with. And then wrestling in particular, it's just a different, it's different. It breeds different people. It really does. I don't know how to explain it. Dustyn, explain it. You got to explain it. It does. I mean, they're just different people.
It's just you out there. That's why. I mean, spotlight's on you. Everyone gets to see your mistakes, your glory. Everyone gets to see everything that you do. They see it. You're just exposed. And so if you have pride for yourself and you're doing all the right things, like, the good things show. Yeah. It's gonna come out in the end. And so I think every day when you step wherever you're going, just waking up, stepping to the weights, to the class, to practice, like, you have to hold yourself accountable and not have the distractions around you when you step on that mat. Because if you're thinking of, I got a test later, I got 3 girlfriends I got to juggle around. That's so much stuff on your mind before you step on the mat, and you just need to be thinking, okay, it's just me and him. I got to go out there and wrestle my best. And so that's a big part of it, I think, is having these guys understand that accountability, like, take actions, take accountability for your actions, no matter what it is.
Well, and in the employment world, we see, I mean, there's just this huge problem of people not showing up on time. Or, I mean, I'm really fortunate to have the people that we have working for us. But you hear that in restaurants. You hear that with employers all the time. Oh, it's like, I didn't even know what soft skills was until soft skills were missing from people. But I mean, it's the ability to show up and be accountable for your actions and to communicate. And I mean, all of those things that as an adult are super essential, sometimes they're just missing out of kids. Yeah.
And I think that's my favorite part about coaching, I think, is that I get myself surrounded by people that are motivated and holding themselves accountable every day.
Right.
And if they're not, it shows.
Well, that forces you to do the same thing.
Yeah, yep. And so
because you can't lead if you're not doing it, right?
Well, and I've been a part of groups where they were taking it way more seriously than what I was. I jumped back into theater a few years ago, and the people that I jumped into theater with, they were way more serious than what I was. And so then, just to adapt to the culture, I had to be more serious, And so those kinds of things pull marginal people in.
That's called iron sharpens iron.
Right.
That's where that term comes from. Like there's that level of accountability and work ethic, and if it's iron sharpens iron.
And we tell you guys, just be grateful every day, because once you leave here, like, it's rare that you're going to be able to find that again.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
So we'll end it with this. Do you ever worry about some of your guys when they leave? Because there is mental health involved with it all, and like we were talking about earlier, the identity. A lot of people they've identified as a wrestler their whole life, right? That's all they've known. And then once they're done with college, some of them might be able to wrestle a little bit more, but basically that's it. Most guys. Do you ever worry about some of your guys?
Not the ones that have gone through the program completely. I feel like once they come in and they leave, they're ready to go and do what's next. And they understand that, again, the task at hand thing we talked about, it's next best thing now. What do I have to do now? Now I'm going to prepare myself for this next best thing, and I'm going to be the best at this that I want to be, whether I want to be a chiropractor, I want to be a coach, or I want to be a teacher. How can I be the best in that? What do I have to do? What's the work that I have to do? Who do I have to surround myself with? And they understand that, I think, after they come through. And the ones that don't, you know, even the ones that do, I still have communication with. Like we talk, it's a big family thing. Like I know that they call Hunter, they call me, they call other coaches, they call their teammates, like just to talk through that kind of stuff. It's a lifelong thing. It's not just something that they're here for 4 or 5 years and then see ya.
Yeah, you're not.
You're done now.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, too, like, I mean, it's a cliche saying, but like once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. Like that's a big saying that you see it on
I kind of
t-shirts
feel like it's true.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, like wrestling is a tough sport. We do some
Probably the toughest.
we do some very, very difficult things, and if you can just have that mindset once you leave, is like just about anything that you do is probably not going to be harder than the stuff you did while you were in college. You can usually, I feel like most guys do pretty well, especially if you keep that just competitive nature. Like he's kind of saying, like whatever field you're in,
the best.
you just try to be the best that you can be. And I think that just kind of, it does translate to life. You learn a lot of life skills in wrestling. I mean, discipline, accountability, like all those things. And if you have that ability to just carry it over and treat life like like you're training for a national title, like more often than not, people succeed.
I like it.
Hey, I didn't know if you guys caught it earlier, but when Hunter was talking about his fiance, he just recently got engaged.
Got
Hey.
engaged.
Yeah, I knew.
Friday.
I already knew. Yeah. I got him on social media. I mean, I pretty much know like what's going on with these guys.
Very
I think I even commented, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably did.
So when's the
I
date?
usually do.
Oh, it won't be for a while. Probably after we move back from Texas.
Okay.
We want all our family to be there, but just gonna enjoy it for a little bit. It's exciting, big step. So very excited though.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, well, we appreciate you guys coming in, man. EOU head wrestling coach Dustyn Azure and assistant coach Hunter Sparks. But it's so weird because I want to say, you know what I mean? Like, but no, now you're the assistant coach.
You can say it
You're
if you want.
assistant coach Hunter Sparks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
and that's
guys,
what's
man.
going on inside of you is like, oh man, I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean that identity thing is huge. You know. So well, thanks guys for being here.
Yeah,
Always, thank you.
Let me get us out of here real fast. On this day, October 24th, 1836, the earliest American patent for a phosphorus friction match, which is like just a regular old match, by Dwight Phillips of Springfield, Massachusetts. 1836 is when he got a patent for matches. 1881, Levi P. Morton, the U.S. ambassador to France, drives the first rivet in the Statue of Liberty. 1926, on this day, Harry Houdini's last performance at the Garrick Theater in Detroit, Michigan. You know how Harry Houdini died? Pancreas. But it was from a punch. He got
that's
punched,
right. I had forgotten.
And he died 9 days later from a pancreatic infection that the punch caused. I don't remember who punched him.
That's right.
2017, on this day, Albert Einstein's theory of happiness, which was written as a note for a bellboy instead of a tip in Tokyo in 1922, sells for $1.56 million.
Theory of happiness.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
It was a note to a bellboy that he wrote,
right.
thanking him,
Yeah.
and they ended up calling it the theory of happiness. 2021, on this day, Michael Jordan's 1984 Nike Air ships sell for $1.47 million at Sotheby's. It's a new record for sneakers at an auction. 2023, on this day, and I want to read this book really bad, just because I think it's probably interesting. American pop singer Britney Spears releases her memoir, The Woman in Me. That's probably a really interesting book because she's had quite a crazy life. And then one more thing before we get out of here, the Otani ball sold for $4.36 million, and the Dodgers offered the guy $400,000 for it. So you got 10 times what the Dodgers offered. The number one song in America on this day in 1994, I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. And the quote of the day comes from Virginia Satir. We must not allow other people's limited perceptions to define us. One more time. We must not allow other people's limited perceptions to define us.
All right.
That's all we got, man. Appreciate you guys for coming in and hanging out with us. And we're we'll be live tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll be on the call for the LeGrand Crook County game, and then we'll also have a live simultaneous stream of Baker and
Jesse Taub will be the play-by-play there.
who's
Yeah.
Baker's playing Gladstone.
Yeah.
The team that we've had troubles with in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, not us personally. I'm talking about them.
No, Gladstone has been tough
Yeah.
in the past.
It has.
So,
Yep. So yeah, we'll see you on Tuesday.
yeah. All right.